Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of your transition from high school to college. Here at HowTooCollege, we're all about giving you the best advice, tips, and tricks for getting the most out of your college experience.
In this interview, we're going to be talking about the best tips and advice on how to transition from high school to college. We are here with Professor Swan, and hope you guys enjoy it.
Are you ready?
Right on!
So, what's your thought whenever students now students are starting to use iPads, are starting to use computers, are starting to use cell phones, especially the new generation. You know, high schoolers come from high school just using laptops. They don't use notebooks anymore.
Well, I mean, the folks entering college now don't know life without cell phones.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, they really don't.
So that's my question. So what's the suggestion for you? Because I know that I have friends too, and myself too, we'll do the mistake that we'll be listening to class for 10 minutes, we'll go away to the cell phone, send a text, go back to class, and we missed already the most important part of the class.
Yeah.
And we'll go again to text, and then we'll come here. So how important, what do you think is a strategy for students nowadays to focus a little more on the subject that in their cell phones or iPads, social media? Do you think maybe they should turn on your phone? They should just not do cell phones at all?
There have been so many studies on this, and ultimately, technology is an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that this all constant connectivity, and I even find myself, it's like, oh, it's been 20 minutes, I need to check my phone. Or even here, it's buzzing, and I know somebody's texting me, so it's like, So there's that constant pressure of having to check that, and I think one of the things that that's important is to really find ways to limit your screen time. Go out and exercise, right? Go do things outside. The other thing is reading, believe it or not. Yeah, reading and saying, you know what, I'm going to read for 30 or 45 minutes straight. I'm not going to check in. I'm going to put my technology aside. I'm going to do that because that really does help retrain your brain to focus. Because right now everything is, with YouTube or with everything else, everything is in kind of these 10, 20 minute segments.
Yeah,
the sitcom segment, right?
Exactly.
That because and all of a sudden that kind of becomes our attention span.
Yeah.
This 10 to 20 minute range, and we've got to find ways to expand that. Part of it is putting technology aside, and doing other things where you can focus for longer periods of time.
Yeah. That's a good one. When it comes to nutrition, that's probably another one, major one. So, for instance, your daughter, she's already used to eat certain kind of food.
Yeah. Right.
You're not gonna let her eat a whole 3 days straight ice cream. But you go to college and suddenly there's repeats every day, ice cream. So now is a good thing we say. What are the suggestions? Do you think okay, you should definitely limit it to once or twice a week, or something like that?
Well, it's so true because you end up eating at the university, and so all of a sudden you've got all these food options that they have, and not all of them are healthy.
Yeah.
And so, really, what you've got to do is, 80% of the time, you've got to eat good 80% of the time.
Yeah.
And it may mean that you have a salad for lunch rather than the pizza, and then eat a normal dinner or whatever. Because there's a reason why they call it the freshman 15, which is now becoming the freshman 25.
I have personal experience with that.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. And then the other thing is that exposure to alcohol will really pack on weight too.
Yeah.
I don't condone underage drinking, but I'm not naive enough to think it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And it's just empty calories ultimately.
Yeah. But you might want to tell your story of your freshman year, and then how you now you lost so many pounds, but you can just tell them a little bit about your freshman experience.
Yeah, what I noticed, absolutely. So jumping into college, right off the bat, I took advantage of the buffet. My mom cooked pretty healthy, so we had pretty good meals, pretty good portion size. But going to college, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this all I can eat, buffet with all these different options. So I started eating pizza every day. And, it's just ate very, very unhealthy. Just kind of took full advantage of that. So, continued to do that. Obviously, like most freshman students, jumped right into the partying. So definitely had my fair share of beer, which is a lot of calories. So kind of combining that with, continually eating unhealthy and eating larger portions than I needed to, just because it was there and I could eat more. And when it's pretty good food, which it was, as unhealthy food is, it's pretty tasty. You're gonna eat a lot. You're gonna eat a lot. So yeah, as I was just not being mindful of that, starting to consume alcohol at quite a higher rate, and then combining that with a lack of physical exercise. I put on freshman 15 definitely within my first 6 months, and then just kind of as college went on, the next thing I know, 3-4 years later, my senior year's rolling around, and I had gained maybe 70 pounds. I mean, I was pretty big, and what I noticed, was, after college, I just remember, I think one day kind of, sitting down and kind of thinking like, whoa, finally kind of coming to a realization of how much weight I had gained and saying, I'm not happy with this. And so what I realized was I knew why I had gained weight. It was easy to look back and say I didn't exercise. I ate all that unhealthy food. I drank all that alcohol. And I said, well, I need to change that. So I started watching what I ate, smaller portions, healthier food. I cut way back on the alcohol consumption. Moderation is key. And then started exercising more, because exercise is huge as well. And the next thing I know, lost 10 pounds. 6 months goes by, lose another 20 pounds, and over about the course of a year and a half, 2 years after college, I'm back down to my high school weight now where I was, and actually I believe in better shape than I was at my prime. Senior year of high school when I was real fit. So just being really mindful, and I think that's what's kind of helped me transition back to being a healthy person.
That's one of the things, those are the mistakes that you do when you were a freshman, right?
Yeah.
That you wish you have known better.
Yeah, if I would have
Go back and tell your freshman self,
Yeah.
don't do that.
I would have said, hey, dude, enjoy some ice cream here and there. Have some pizza, but do it in moderation. There's no need to have that every day just because it's there.
Yeah.
When my mom cooked for me, it's like, okay, one night we're gonna have Italian, next night we're gonna have salad, and that's what we had. It wasn't I have all these options, and every time I can choose to go for the pizza. So it's different when you're in high school and you're growing up and your parents are, cooking food for you and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
That's an excellent point. And this comes to one of my questions that I wanted to ask Chris. And I want you to share one of the stories here. When you were a freshman, what was one of the things like that you did that you wish I wish I could have done back to freshman year and tell myself, don't do it?
Oh man, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube.
What? What was it? Another 10 you had.
Well, I mean, to go back to the health issue, yeah. See, I didn't like the food, and so I ate cereal all the time.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
a lot of sugar.
A lot of sugar, all carbs. And
Yeah,
it's
all
like,
carbs.
oh, it's so bad for you.
Yeah. Balance is key, I guess. Nutrition balance is, I think, key.
Yeah. And I was still pretty active, and so I was still exercising, but it didn't matter. I mean, if you're not doing both, it's gonna attack you.
You gotta be doing both. Yes.
I remember one of the things I wish I could have known better when I was a freshman was when I started living with my friends. We all were in a bubble. I was living with one of my best friends, and we had, we came from the same country, the same culture, we had the same language. My studmate was Juan Fernando, also one of my really good friends, same culture, same language. So we created this bubble my freshman year. So we will always hang out together, we'll always have the same classes. So I was really enjoying college because I'm here with my best friends. But then after a year or two, you start kind of realizing I'm not really having the American experience. I'm not really having any American friends. And I'm not improving my English. And that was key, because even though I was enjoying it, I realized, the reason I came here was so I can have the American experience, I can meet new people, I can meet new friends. So even though I was enjoying it, then that's one of the reasons why I decided to join fraternity, because in that way I was going to be that's an excuse for me to tell my friends that I'm not going to hang out with you guys anymore, but it's a good excuse to put yourself out there with, at least uncomfortable, because you want to always be with your friends.
Yeah.
But the moment that you push yourself out there, it's really, it was really great for me because I was able to create some of my best friends,
Yeah.
some of my best experiences. So that's one of my tips, definitely. And here you go. So I know. Okay, so your daughter is transitioning to college.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have told her this before, but what's the if you could give her like 1, 2, or 3 tips of advice? I would say 1 tip of advice that you will give her or any high schooler that is going to college.
Just one?
Well, you can give me 2. Yeah, 1 is a lot of pressure. It's that was 3 tips of advice.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose one, it would be find a mentor.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to college, find that advisor or that mentor that has more experience than you, that can help mentor you, and not just one, maybe 2. You know, maybe one that's a peer, you know, a student that's maybe 3 or 4 years older than you, that has maybe been there, that kind of handles some of it from that perspective, but then also an academic type mentor, and not just the advisor that they give you, one that you can connect with, one that you trust to give you information, you know, those sorts of things, because you don't know everything, and it's important that then after you graduate, find another mentor, right? Somebody that you can learn your profession from or whatever, that can help guide you and bounce things off, and you know, from time to time call up and say, I've got this, and I'm not sure what to do. You know, I don't know quite how to handle this. And I think it's always important to have those folks in your life that's outside of your friends and family, right? You know.
And so here comes the last question, because I know we're running out of time. But I'll say one of them is like, now your daughter's going to college, you're a dad. I think what's one of your biggest fears for your daughter to go to college?
Well, I think it's the fear of the unknown. Like I said before, I mean, it's there's so many things that you haven't done or experienced or whatever, and it's all new. In many cases, it's a lot of new people, you know, and that can be scary for folks.
Yeah.
Even if they're energized by it, it's still intimidating.
Yeah.
And I think the way to overcome that is just put yourself out there. You know, and take the time to figure out who you are and surround yourself with people with common interests, common values, you know, and somebody, you know, people that you can connect with.
Okay. Awesome, that's great.
And I'm gonna squeeze in one more question. We're gonna jump ahead a little bit. So another huge mistake I made, and this is looking ahead. You know, junior, senior year. You know, graduation's coming around. What are your next steps? And I always had that mentality. You know, I was a big procrastinator in college. You know, so I was just, I'll figure it out when the time comes. I didn't really know. I was kind of one of those students. I think I know what I kind of want to do, what kind of job I want to get, or what kind of grad school program I might try to get into. But you know, I'll figure it out when the time comes. The next thing I know, it's spring semester before graduation, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Now, I'm also kind of, you know, unlike other students, again, I didn't take things as seriously as I should have. I didn't do internships. It's very, very lazy. I just really didn't take things seriously. Most college students, I think, are smart enough to know, okay, an internship's going to help and stuff like that. But beyond internships and just not being lazy and procrastinating like me, I want to know what advice you give someone that is nearing the end of their college career. You know, transitioning into the real world. What's some advice you have? Again, being a professor and a previous student.
You know, for folks that are nearing the end of their college career, the best thing they can do is figure out and being honest with themselves about what they're passionate about and what they're really good at. Because if you can merge those two into your career, what you're doing, you're going to be happy. You're never going to regret a Monday, right? You're never going to dread going to work Monday morning. You know, because if you're passionate about it, you know, you enjoy doing it, and you're good at it, you're set. Awesome.
Hey guys, so thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Derek, anything else we want to say to these guys?
Absolutely. Be sure to follow us on social media, guys. Links in the description. We'll see you soon.
Go.
Right on.